Hey people, so finally moved into my room, mostly. Still have a few things in storage and have a few things I'm still working on in the room. Like I gotta get the my comic books up on the wall, so in future videos you'll see a bunch of my comic books up there. Um, One thing that I have that you have never seen is that. That is actually a real street sign. In the town that I was raised in, the town right next to the town I was raised in, is a town called Victorville, California. And in Victorville, California, is a uh, fairgrounds that they hold the San Bernardino County Fair at every year. And one of the things that Victorville does is their public works department sells all their old street signs. And I knew this street existed because it's my last name. And I and never thought that I'd ever get my hands on one of the street signs. It never even occurred to me. Till one year, went to the fair and went into their little booth, and they happened to be selling a bunch of street signs. They had stop signs, they had this, that, and the other. These are all signs that have been decommissioned by the city of Victorville. And they happened to have two of these, and I got the better of the two. And I think I paid like $5 for it. And it has pretty much every place that I've ever lived since then sat right above my doorway, um, except for when I moved to Kentucky and then to New York. But when I moved back to California and then now back now to Utah, it's come with me. It was in storage for a while. Um, Victorville had apparently um, part of its growth and whatever was aided by a gentleman with the last name Hook. Did not know that until later on because it was weird when I was growing up to see as I was driving. My parents, and I were driving through Victorville to see Hook Junior High, which Hook Junior High happens to sit on Hook Boulevard. And so I decided I gotta have one. So when I saw it, the first thing I was like, oh yeah, I'm taking that. And I've had it ever since. Um, I know it's weird, but not many people get to ever own a sign with a legitimate street sign, not something they just bought off the internet, but a legitimate street sign that has their last name on it. So it's one of the weird treasures in my life. But yeah, I'm mostly moved in. Got the Minecraft poster over there. Um, Jack's still over here. Um, Room's mostly put together. Had some cuddle time with my girl last night in my bed, which I haven't been able to do for weeks, and that was awesome. And in a couple weeks, or hopefully sooner, when things get back to normal, we'll actually get to have some playtime, and that'll be awesome. But for now, I'm just kind of relaxing, getting things still unpacked, put into place. My closet's still a disaster because all of my clothes are pretty much on the floor. Um, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I got my big shelf unit is sitting in the bathroom. Uh, this room is bigger in some ways than my old room, smaller in other ways. It's hard to explain, but just the way it's configured, I wasn't able to put everything together the way I would have liked, but it worked out for I think the best. Um, I got a new lighting situation, so I don't have a heavy, harsh light on me. The room is still, to my, not too bright, not too dark. And this is a light specifically that I set up for filming. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting some energy and hopefully some money into getting a backdrop so that you won't see all of this. You'll actually, because some of the video things I want to do in the future, um, I want to have an actual backdrop and do a green screen and do a couple other things. But for now, this works well. But yeah, so I am going to do a video here shortly, probably in the next couple days, hopefully, um, about affirmative consent, specifically because of what California is doing with trying to teach kids about affirmative consent and how horribly they are doing with it. And I, I, I'm just going to say it. I think the concept of affirmative consent is a horrible idea. It doesn't work. You, the idea of, and I did a video a while back making fun of a feminist video that showed what affirmative consent is supposed to look like. Where you're supposed to ask permissions. Can I touch this? Can I touch that? Can I do this? Can I do that? It not only destroys any fun, it's just not realistic in the way people have sex. So I'm not going to get too much into it right now, but I really think that's going to be a lightning rod topic. And because I'm 100% about consent. There's nothing I have ever said or done that would lead someone to believe that I encourage any kind of non consensual activity. But there is ways to do it right and there's ways to do it wrong. And I think that doing it the way that they're teaching, horrible. Horrible. It will confuse the kids, it'll make life harder for the kids, and eventually it'll wind up causing something really stupid to happen. But that's just me. So, um, any questions, anything, anybody want to talk, hit me up. That's it for now. Be well and safe.